Good morning. Okay. Things look a little different right now. There was an update with OBS streaming software yesterday, and so I can't get it to work right. While I'm waiting for a consultant to help me with that, we're using my backup system over Zoom. So this really is slapdash, but I'm going to do my very best to give you a meaningful experience nonetheless. So let's begin with a bit of the old lesson. Before this early morning's group meditation, let's reduce meditation-oriented anxiety, which is terribly ironic. We typically tend to seek or turn to meditation in hopes of peace, and for some reason, sometimes the opposite happens. And here's why. Many years ago, Sturgeon's law was observed, which is basically 90% of everything is crap. But that does mean that 10% is exceptional. And that applies, sadly, to many things, including meditation teachers. Some are nefarious and they have their own agenda, and they definitely want to increase the suggestibility of their students by making them feel like failures. And we would call them elitist. There are some who are just lazy minded and they think filling their students full of fear and bad advice is useful. Not that they know it's bad advice, it's just they have never used critical thinking skills. And sadly, there are a lot of people like that out there. So, when it comes to meditation, perfectionism is neither necessary nor is it useful. By the way, so let's continue here. I kid you not, I have one of my first tantric teachers really meant well, but he was raised to be just really a big old fundamentalist and controlled by fear. And he would say that if you meditate incorrectly, you can go insane or go to hell. And that's not uncommon. There are a lot of people prancing about the countryside teaching that. But you know what? The Buddha never taught that. The Buddha taught there were seven enlightenment factors, and that the fourth one is joy, and that the fifth one is tranquility. Guys, you can't have joy and tranquility if someone has filled you with um, fear and told you that if you do it wrong, the consequences are dire. Judging from the Buddha's teachings, or at least I guess it'd be more correct to say the teachings attributed to the Buddha, it's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a mellow experience. Once again, if you are just gutting it out and you're breaking a sweat and you look like you're straining with constipation, to quote Bugs Bunny, you've taken the wrong turn at Albuquerque. I guess that's not a quote, that's more of a paraphrase. So let's get right down to it. We're going to start with mindfulness and meditation. The A and the Z, the alpha and the omega. So here we go. Mindfulness is not concentration. Why not? What's wrong with concentration? Concentration is going, fMRI studies have shown that when you concentrate, um, you are going to access the part of your brain, the bottom part of your brain, the amygdala, which is the seat of fear and aggression. And that's the opposite of the part of the brain you're trying to access during meditation because your aggression center may take you many places, but peace is not one of them. So our mindfulness is not based on active concentration, but instead it's based on perception that is vulnerable, passive, visceral, and random. Now, I mentioned a few moments ago that this was effortless. Allow me to elaborate. every time we breathe in, whether we know it or not, whether we can even spell neuroscience or not, we automatically access a region of our autonomic nervous system known as our sympathetic nervous system, which has evolved for to notice things in just this way. It is what we evolved to do. Imagine, if you will, we were able to watch our ancestors leave the trees and enter the savannah, the Serengeti, if you will, or Serengeti-like thing. And imagine there were two of our ancestors. One is just focused on the splendor of a ladybug on a stalk of grass. And the other, they have a diffuse attention. Their perception is vulnerable and passive and visceral and random. The first guy is deaf, functionally deaf to the sound of a predator approaching. The second guy, he's out of there. He's like the Roadrunner on a cartoon. He's zoom out of there. The first guy becomes lunge and consequently does not pass on that genetic trait. So we are wired to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly during our. So now we turn our. So as what are some of the things that we can wind up noticing? We can notice sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We can notice emotion, intention, thoughts, memory, and imaginings. Now, the intelligent would ask, what should I do with such perceptions? We meditate upon them. This is how meditation works. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to both physically relax as well as mentally release. Now, release doesn't mean we stop perceiving. It doesn't mean we stop perceiving the external world. It doesn't mean we stop perceiving the internal world or our reactions to them. It means we make peace with them. I am perceiving A. Okay. My reaction is B. Okay. I don't like A or B. Okay. That when we are able to maintain a level of acceptance of our perceptions and our reactions to our perceptions, whether they are good, bad, or ugly, pleasurable, painful, boring, or interesting, glorious or grotesque, then we know we're walking the path. And here's the cool thing. We don't have to force these mechanisms that are already latent in our spinal cord. That's how fundamental they are. You see, my friends, when it comes to evolution, it's safe to say our spinal cord evolved before our prefrontal cortex, long before it. I like to refer to our brain as a 3-pound squishy supercomputer that resides in the dark between our ears. It is so complex that it sometimes doesn't, its right hand doesn't always know what its left hand is doing, metaphorically speaking. And as we sit in an impeccable posture, allowing ourselves to vulnerably notice as we breathe in, allowing ourselves to relaxingly release as we breathe out, we are aligning our intention, our volition, our will with our, metaphorically speaking, factory installed programming. I look forward to meditating with you in approximately 90 seconds. But first, housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to meditate like a Jedi. Whoopsie. Which is made possible by the generosity of viewers just like you who support this channel on Patreon, either by capturing the QR code with their smartphone's camera or by clicking the appropriate link in the description area below the video. If you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Obi-Wan Kenobi upon the sands of Tatooine under the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news. If at any point during this early morning live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, do not hesitate. Do not wait to the end of the live stream. Immediately type your question in great detail in the chat window. Now, if you're using a laptop or a desktop, the chat window should be on the right. And if you're using your smartphone, it should be down below. Okay, together as a team, I think it would be splendid if we chanted the Wednesday morning excerpt from Gaurav Dorje's The Spaciousness of Vajrasattva, which is accepted by many scholars as being humanity's first Dzogchen text. Very excited about this. Let's chant. And if anything strikes you as weird or incomprehensible or opaque, type a specific question, and I'll be delighted to answer it. Together. Concepts are like space, but neither space nor concepts ever come into true existence. So true existence is a funny way of saying true existence is a nickname for our ability to after noticing something, to let go of that, as if it did not truly exist, as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, as if it was as non-graspable as the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand. Abiding in spacious consciousness beyond desire and directed intent, one's condition widens to infinity. Concept-free equanimity is a ground of being, but like the moon reflected on water, it cannot be grasped. Through the divine creative energy, the vibratory sounds of speech are manifested. The mantric sense of awe and power in the many elaborations express the creative power of infinite consciousness and figure forth the mind of light. How amazing the enlightened realm is never found by seeking and can never be perceived by the six senses. Those who seek it in this way are like blind ones grasping for the sky. And now it's time for the Easter Bunny, which is my favorite way of saying, now let's practice this morning's primary practice text. By the way, the Shastra we just chanted and the sadhana we're about to start with are available for free download on my website. Everything I do is free. There are no hidden charges for anything. Consider me, if you will, a Dharma slut, because I'm just giving it away. Let's begin with a concise chant of bodhicitta and refuge to help us to exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm. Together. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. So we've already gone through the meditation instructions. I guess there's one thing we've left out, and that's this. During each perceptive inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And during each relaxing exhalation, we could silently and I'm sorry, during each releasing exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite relaxing. I intend to check for questions approximately once every 8 or 9 minutes. So be patient. There will be some time between question typed and question received. Having said that, let's dig in. So the breathing here is very natural. We breathe with our lungs, and our lungs are in our chest. So it's chest-centered breathing. We don't have to, this is not concentration. This is mindfulness. We just want to take it nice and easy. The very act of noticing and releasing in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation is liberation. All enlightenment is mastery of this path, being able to perform these actions spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. So, in other words, repetition is the mother of skill, and the mastery of this is an inevitability. So remember, noticing is passive. We are not actively trying to label the world around us. We're just passively drinking it in through our six senses of eyes, ears, skin, mouth, nose, and mind. Good morning. If you've just joined us, if at any point you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or philosophy, type your question in the chat window. Here's a quick rule of thumb. As we breathe in, we practice passive awareness. As silently and mentally we recite this. As we exhale, we physically relax and mentally release. As silently and mentally we recite relaxing. I apologize for the inconvenience. Usually we use an OBS software. They just updated it and now it doesn't work. And so while I'm waiting for the consultant to get back to me, I'm just using Zoom. It's a bit harder on the eyes, but hopefully by this time tomorrow, everything will be a-okay. Testing, testing. Okay, sorry about that, guys. OBS is not working right. So while I'm waiting for the consultant to help me out, I'm back on Zoom, slapdash Zoom. If at any point you have any questions about Buddhist meditation or philosophy, do not be shy. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. As you breathe in, as you perceptively breathe in, you can silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. As you release into your exhalation, you can silently and mentally recite relaxing. I typically check for questions about once every 8 or 9 minutes, so do be patient if you type a question. Let us seal our meditation with a brief chant. Oopsie, wrong button. There we go. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from misery. May everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. Let's see. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 2 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's mid-morning practice. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.